Hello, everyone. So hope you enjoying the panel discussion before. So today we will bring a very asked panel that you can listen from all the experts from different sectors, both in the Web3 space. And we have Jess from the family office and based in Dubai and Singapore, and John from Neo ecosystem, and from the project like a building side, and also Marco from the licensed asset manager and in Hong Kong, and from the traditional finance perspective, and also Michael, and a very experienced marketing leader in the Web3 space. And so I will give everyone 10 seconds to quickly introduce yourself and anything you would like to let the audience know first. So how about from Jess first?
Hey everyone, I'm Jess. I'm working in Vampura Group now. So which is Vampura Group is a prominent multi-family offices in Singapore with Singapore founding father Lee Kuan Yew's family and Singapore OCBC's bank founding family. So I'm in charge of the digital asset and the Web3 sectors in the group. Thanks for having me.
Hello everyone, this is John from the Neo team. Neo is quite the old public blockchain. It started from the 2016, so it's nearly like it's 8 years already. And I'm responsible for the Neo's eco growth team and the Neo's eco fund. So nice to meet you guys. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Marco from My Capital. We are one of the few licensed virtual asset managers in Hong Kong. We manage two funds now. One is purely tracking Bitcoin. The other one we trade actively, which we already have a 4 years track record. So today, happy to share more about the post-era of the ETF from the TradFi perspective.
Hi, I'm Michael. So I'm from Box Mining. It's a YouTube channel with more than 300,000 subscribers. I'm also the founder and co-founder of Ozaru, which is a fund that invests in Web3. So I started my journey in 2012, as the name suggests, mining. And I followed the Bitcoin's journey pretty much till now, from just a lot of speculation to this transition into this very traditional enterprise. So I want to just offer a very different perspective for someone who's just been mining for a long time and also been investing in more than, I think now it's actually more than 100 projects in the Web3 space.
Cool. So let me circle back. So why today we have this topic about ETF or Bitcoin? As we know that on this year, January the 10th, the US SEC approved the spot Bitcoin ETF. And since then, the Bitcoin price surged about 60% over time. And today, we have 71,000 as a Bitcoin price. So I think everyone will be wondering whether or not, from the crypto perspective, whether BTC ETF will really change the landscape or not, or it's just short-term pump. And the secondly is about whether Bitcoin will be the new digital gold and take over the gold's market cap. And today, so the gold, the total market cap is about 14.5 trillion, and however, the Bitcoin is about 10% of their total market cap, which means if the Bitcoin will take over the gold, then it still have at least 10x of the Bitcoin price. So let me bring to the panelists. So I would like to understand what's your perspective about how do you see the opportunities post-ETF era. So how about I will go with Marco first, and you can also give your perspective and general information about the ETF current status code.
Sure, thanks, Eric. I think it's very inspiring. Right now, we have been long waiting for this crypto spot ETF to come out. Of course, we know that in Hong Kong we have the futures. Right now, US launched 11 in total for Bitcoin BTC ETF at the moment. The total amount right now is about 58 billion, the last I checked. It's account for about 5.8% of the total circulations of Bitcoin. In the total info, we see why the market have actually jumped 60% is we only have info about 11 billion into this crypto market. A lot of them before is actually from GBTC. So on a day-to-day basis, you might hear right now that we have a net outflow or net inflow from the news. A lot of times we see most of the net outflow from GBTC to the other 10 ETF at the moment. But we see a net inflow of 11 billion. So if 11 billion, we do some estimations, can trigger the market from about around 48,000 this beginning of this year to right now 70. We see only 11 billion from institutional money or somewhat from retail that's been buying this ETF. I think the potential is huge. I think there will be more institutional will want to allocate using this ETF at the moment. It's not really targeting the Web3 people who already have access to the market, but it's more for TradFi people to access the market. And I see going forward, in this market, we might split into two different sectors, right? We have the physical, which we can directly buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin, going through different exchanges and maybe hold your Bitcoin through a hot wallet or cold wallet. But at the same time, we have a security market, which is ETF, and then we have different derivatives. What I foresee in the opportunity in the coming futures for the ETF at the moment is, beside institutional money coming into the space, we see a lot of derivatives that is arriving from this ETF. So we can do a lot of lending, borrowing from it. When we recall, I think back in the days, right, 2 years ago, we had BlockFi Celsius, who provide a lending market in Bitcoin or crypto. But after they are gone, we seem to lack this market, right? That was mainly the leverage provided by exchange itself. But I think going forward, what we can see from the ETF market is we can actually have a traditional market which can provide some kind of leverage in the ETF world that can further incubate this area, because we will have more liquidity coming in. So that's my 2 cents of feedback.
Thank you. So what's your view on this, John? Post-ETF, any opportunities that you see?
Yes. If we go back over this industry for the last decade, we can find it's growing very fast. So except the technology innovation, except the decentralized philosophy, I think the most important thing is this industry the blockchain attract lots of the money and wealth coming. So the ETF is definitely a very good signal for us, in the future, for the traditional money, they can come into this industry more easier. Before that, most people may using the stable coin, may using the Bitcoin and this kind of things to convert their fiat to the crypto. So if we're thinking if the crypto, the blockchain is a new country, so within more and more the source coming to this country is definitely growing very fast. So I believe the ETF is very important the signal that is to the whole industry, that the biggest is the barrier between the traditional industry and the crypto currently has already been conquered.
So I just curious, from the project foundation perspective, do you think there will be more and more projects to apply for the ETF? For example, like Solana or Ethereum or for example, Neo. How do you see that for the project's perspective, what's the opportunities there?
Let me ask your first question. Is of course like for all the projects, we are looking forward like ourselves. It can be get approved in in every area for the local ETF. It definitely be very good things for most of us, but it's not that easier. But for your second question is what's the impact for the NEO? I think like for most from the technology side, to be honest, I think for most of the public blockchain is general public blockchain. It's no much of the difference. So it will be have the DeFi, it will be has NFT, it will be has the everything. But like for the area, for the different chains, the focus area is quite a difference. So for us, I think our is quite the Asian background project. So we will be more focused on especially for the Hong Kong area, and we are looking forward like for us like get approved in the Hong Kong. It will be the current priority. So yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you. So Michael, how do you see that?
I think I want to offer a slightly different perspective here because I've been talking about ETFs and creating content about this ever since 2016. And then I feel like we're in a very different time, and time has moved very quickly. So if you just zoom out a bit, like 10 years ago, who was like playing around with Bitcoin, right? If you talk about Bitcoin and people on the streets, people will be thinking, are you dealing drugs? Is it Silk Road? You know, or are you like this weird mining thing? Like people always gave me these weird looks, right? Especially like not 10 years, but 12 years ago, 2012 when I started, people were just like, yeah, like just get away from me, you know. But now that ETFs approved, finally they're like, oh my God, I want to meet you. Tell me more about your life story, about everything. So it changed the optics a lot, especially when it comes to the general public. So all of a sudden now, if I go and talk to pretty much anyone and I say, hey, look, I'm like early Bitcoin miner, and they're like, whoa, it's crazy. And then we're not seeing the craziness in terms of understanding Bitcoin yet. So I think this is where the opportunity is. Where right now I feel people are still, in terms of general public, they're just thinking of this as like a weird, funny money on the internet, right? But I don't think we ever got to the concept of unstoppable money. I think news is not ready to talk about how this can be unstoppable. Whether you want to send your Bitcoin to Dubai or to Singapore or to Korea or send it across the world to States or Venezuela, it's unstoppable right now. It's not very cheap. I mean, back in the day, we can go on stage and say, hey, it's very cheap. Now with ordinals and everything that's happening on the Bitcoin blockchain, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's unstoppable, right? And I feel like that's the next opportunity is to get Bitcoin to the hands of more people. For me, I view this as a bridge to get more of the general public to get onto Bitcoin, for them to understand what it is. And I'm already seeing that in progress with a lot of, like, even when I go to the bank, they're like, oh, you want to buy Bitcoin? I'm like, brother, like I've been in here for 12 years, right? Like you don't need to talk to me about Bitcoin. But now I see that the bankers are telling me about Bitcoin products that I can buy. So that's a very big change. And I feel like there's a lot more to go afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I asked ChatGPT about this question, and it says the first answer is it improved the legitimacy of Bitcoin as a new asset class recognized by the government. I think that's very important. Yeah, just anything else?
Yeah, I totally agree. So I just take OnePro Group, where I worked as an example. So OnePro Group is actually a really traditional family office and created by decades years ago and based in Singapore. But start from, I think 1 year ago, they start hiring me and some like crypto native guys to run their digital assets business or even the Web3. They start investing in the Web3 projects basically. That is very interesting sign. And then last year they just decided to create build a digital bank in the Middle East country, a small country called Bahrain. So everybody know like even the Middle East back to the MENA region, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or even Bahrain. All the government and regulators are really aggressively to look into the crypto industry. So they also issue a really crypto-friendly regulatory framework for the traditional finance institutions like us to enter the Web3 and digital asset space. This is a really, because after, Signature Bank or Silvergate Bank bankrupt, there's lack of the channel between the traditional bank channel to the crypto assets. So, after the Bitcoin ETF proved, a lot of family offices from Hong Kong or Singapore approached us. Is there any channel, we can convert fiat to buy fiat, crypto to fiat on and off ramp channel to buy crypto, even buy ETF. So I think we're still lack of the financial tools to bring these traditional institutions in, but we can definitely see a lot of, even the Wall Street, they buy like over 9,000 Bitcoins per day, right? So based in Singapore and also back to the MENA, we see a lot of demanding on this crypto space.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the adoption of crypto BTC on ETF definitely made the institutional formal. But however, there's still some gaps, discrepancy between the US side and the Asia side. And as you can see now here in this venue, I think it's less formal than the US side. So, which means in Asia, we still need some time for catch up or for to providing more educational content and conference like this to bring more institutions and the mainstream to bring this to the digital asset side. And also means in Asia and in Hong Kong, we have more opportunities and to build up the venture, build up the business here. And so then also chipping my second question to Marco is about, what do you see the opportunity in Hong Kong, or what do you see the regulatory burden or regulatory challenges that in Hong Kong or Asia in general from your asset management side?
It's targeting ETF, right? So I think the difficulty right now, even US have not solved is ETH, right? The next one that we should be addressing is ETH as the next ETF, right? They're already in discussions. Hong Kong actually was forward thinking. They're already thinking, okay, maybe potentially ETH and BTC can be launched as Hong Kong ETF as the first base. But I think the biggest hurdle right now, which they still have, which could not be resolved at the moment, is how do they resolve the staking part of it? I think Hong Kong is a bit, as a regulator, I'm not trying to market the Hong Kong regulator, but they are a bit forward thinking, okay, if they were to launch a ETH ETF, okay, what were some of the showstoppers? So come to my mind as one of the showstoppers, right now the custodian, if you look across the BTC ETF in the States, most of the custodians are Coinbase at the moment, right? If you guys have understand right now, Coinbase cannot do staking for US client at the moment, right? In Hong Kong, same thing for the regulatory under the VATP, which is the trading platform regulations for virtual assets. They cannot offer staking services for retail at the moment. But if we were to launch a ETH ETF, right, what happened to the people who actually subscribe in kind into ETH, right? We might lose a bunch of ETH which are not able to be staking on the chain. So I think the biggest questions that they need to solve is how to allow the custodian to able to do staking at the moment, because Bitcoin doesn't have that issue at the moment, but because it's a proof of work, right? But for most of the other token, right, including NEO and some of the other chains, most of them are actually proof of stake. So if we don't solve that proof of stake issues with the custodian, it's really difficult to move forwards onto issuing these new ETF in different tokens.
Thank you. So this is a regulatory landscape, right? So how do you see the Hong Kong's opportunities? So do you foresee more and more investor in Asia will go to Hong Kong and to purchase BTC related assets or digital assets?
I think they do. Going back, my first point, my answer for the first questions, right? I guess a lot of institutional clients which have a lot of doubt, it's not because they cannot buy BTC before. I think it's what to do with the BTC after they purchase. A lot of the financial institutions rely on margining, right? If you trade with an interactive broker account, you know that with the stock or equity that you purchase, you can collateralize it at real time as a collateral to trade other financial products. At the moment, if you buy BTC or ETH from Coinbase or even interactive broker, you cannot remarginize this. Which ETF will open up a very big opportunity, as I said, is a lending borrowing market for the BTC market at the moment. So once that open up the lending borrowing market after the BTC convert into ETF, you open up much more liquidity. And the institutional clients like ourselves or other hedge funds will be more willing to access this market because they will know that they were able to get some LTV, right? So some kind of lending borrowing rate from, collateralizing the BTC or ETH with using the ETF as the security underlying. That will actually open up a lot of liquidities.
Cool. So I think the other opportunity that I see is that I talked to some like fund allocator and they have some LP and which holds like Bitcoins and they are actively looking for hedge fund to allocate their BTC to have to enhance their returns on the market.
Yes, the EO enhancement as well. So right now I think there's less EO enhancement. As I said, if you put Bitcoin with Coinbase, right, you can't really do EO enhancing on that. But once it becomes a financial product, the EO enhancing, so you can see all these accumulators, a different kind of structures product will come out along with it.
Yeah, so that's what I think is for the Hong Kong's regulatory regime, and as long as it has a asset management license and very traditional and comprehensive regime for cover the asset management. So more and more products will be live on the market and to open up the space. Yeah, Michael, please.
I actually want to add to this as well because you're from the traditional space and you're talking about how the ETF really helps with these traditional structures. And I'm thinking on my side where it's on the Ethereum space, I'm thinking about how to stake on an eigenlayer, do that restaking, and then put it on Pendle. And then once I'm on Pendle, I can start using the markets to do prediction markets for future points and future yield. It's actually quite interesting because I never thought about how ETFs really open up the world for traditional institutions to also kind of reutilize that value. But I see a lot of power here in not just on the Ethereum side, but on both traditional and on the DeFi side for a lot of these products to work together because it's the same system, it's the same concepts. Again, on Ethereum, if you guys know, we've been covering a lot of these restaking products, and you get almost 30% now. It's not even a negligible amount because with just pure staking, you get 3.8. But with all these new airdrops, with all these new EtherFi or Renzo or whatever, all these DeFi products, they're ready to give away portions of their community DAO token to stakers. So there's just so much opportunity here, and I feel like there needs to be some way to kind of combine traditional and non-traditional because you're missing out on so much. If you're a traditional investor and you just bought some Ethereum and it's just lying there on Coinbase, that's bad. It's bad because I want my 30%, I want my 40%, right? Otherwise, why am I here? So I feel like there just needs to be significant amounts of products that kind of bridge that gap right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So therefore, I think for the fund perspective, so we can see in the market more and more because adoption of BTC ETF and some family office high net worth individuals, they would like to invest in the primary market. And they use the primary a VC fund and they invest in some projects or to purchase some Ether and to stake it to have their own. Right? So I think this is all related because the approval of BTC side. Yeah. John or Jess, anything to add on this? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I just came up, speaking of the lending and the borrowing, I came up Binance just launched the tri-party agreement, which can allow, the large market makers to post collateral in the bank where, the exchange VIP loan will lending and borrowing some cryptos to the market makers in the exchange so they can just trade it on the exchange. Where I can see this is a perfect example, even though like institutions or large traders, they may trust in banks and traditional institutions for now at the moment, but crypto exchange or the crypto institutions can still offer a way, for them to trade. This is what I just came up.
Thank you, John.
Sorry, what's your question?
Yeah, based on our discussion, so anything you would like to add?
Yeah, so I think something I want to add is we do have our own fund, and we are also the limited partner and more than like the 10 ventures. So in the last 5 years, so the biggest complaint I heard about is they are quite difficult actually to connect with the traditional the financial institution and the venture. So it's not a means for the traditional financial institution or the money refuse to come into this industry. It's because of the compliance structure. Their compliance structure they cannot find a way to suit for this industry. So now we do have the ETF. We see many of the different countries, they are currently has a regulation with cryptocurrency. So all of this is a very good signal that no matter for ourselves, the project, no matter for the venture, it will be more easier to working together. The barrier between us will be lower and lower in the future. Yeah.
Thank you. So then goes to my next question. So do you think the crypto or digital assets will take over the TradFi, or TradFi will actually eating all the crypto world?
I think it's a really interesting question because it's so easy to tokenize. In terms of the technology, it's extremely easy to tokenize something. But the legal structure around it, in terms of real world assets, it's extremely hard to make that legal bridge, right? So there's two examples of this. So a lot of people talk about real estate in the past. Can you tokenize real estate, right? And then they tried that initially with just tokens, and then later on they tried that with NFTs. But the legal structure just isn't there to support that, so we never really got a good push. But what's kind of incredible is the technology behind it. I think that's something that we can't really doubt anymore. I think back 4 or 5 years ago, when you talk about DeFi, people are like, it's not very safe. But now with billions of dollars put into DeFi products, and sometimes there's hacks, but most of the time, the majority of the funds, they're kept safe. So as this trust starts building up and people start seeing, oh, wait, you can do this really quickly? You can launch a product in a finger beat where you can just start staking assets or splitting these assets up or restaking these assets. All these financial tools become available to you immediately once you start tokenizing. So I feel like there's a lot of technology and a lot of draw for people to start tokenizing real world assets and start converting into a space, let alone just talking about global access to markets, right? Now, if you're on Ethereum, your Ethereum is the same as my Ethereum, no matter where you bought it, right? She might bought it in Dubai, he might have bought it in, in Hong Kong, or I might have bought it in when I was traveling in Venezuela or something, right? All our Bitcoin is the same, it's the same money, right? So now that it has a global access, the global market, I think that's very, very powerful. So there's two things, global access, and there's also this access to insane amounts of decentralized finance that can kind of bring real world and real world tokenization into the next level, I would think. So I definitely see that this is the future for us.
Yeah, I like to add on some points because I kind of disagree about traditional finance, crypto or even Web3 to take over the traditional finance, or the decentralization will take over centralization. I don't think they kind of compete with each other, right? So we still need to learn from the traditional finance about their solid infrastructure, Because our goal, I think in Web3 world, with its decentralized or even the blockchain-based applications, our goal is to provide a more user-centric and secure digital asset, digital experience, where maybe traditional finance cannot achieve that, but can empower like blockchain or even crypto, like tokenized, can empower the Web3 applications to tailor, tailor the user experience and provide more efficient services for the Web3, the users in the Web3 applications.
Yeah, I pretty agree with it. Like I think there is no competition between the centralized finance and the decentralized finance. The same as like I eat the Chinese food, I also eat the Western food. So yeah, so it's just like the different group and the different people. They do have the different the favor. Some people they like the high APY. They will come into the decentralized finance. Some people want the safe, so they may in their mind they may come into the traditional way. So it's nothing about like who will beat who. So it's only related with like which you believe, like which you like. So yeah, so I think like in the future, like both of them will be still existing in the currently world. But one thing I wanted to say is like maybe in the future, when you do the investment, you cannot recognize you are invested with centralized or decentralized. So it may come in with one product. So yeah, so we no need to differentiate them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Maybe Marco has a different view. You are eating all of us.
Yeah, I think from a traditional finance background, I despise the technology that we use in TradFi market. I think it's not a competition market between DeFi or CeFi itself. I think just how we trade or how we try to settle trades in traditional market right now is ridiculous, right? You still think like transferring a stock, you need T+2, you need 2 days to settle. Right? We never heard of this in Web3 world. It's settled instantly, right? If I send USDT, Bitcoin, it got instantly. I think what TradFi market need to catch up on is their technologies, right? I think it's giving some threats to the TradFi market, say, hey, your technology have been a decade or few decades old already, right? You guys need to catch up with, instant settlement. Although we have the ETF now, right? Going back to this topics, it's not even tradable 24 hours. How could a financial product right now not been 24 hours trading? Why, as a user or hedge fund or anybody else, myself, why do I still stick with a NYSE or Hong Kong EX trading hour, which is 9 to 6, right? It doesn't make any sense. And why do I need to settle after T+2? Why do I get the stock? I should own the stock when I trade, right? This is why Web3 technology is so powerful, because it solves all the technology issues problem for TradFi. But I think TradFi had not realized that they need to make some changes now. This DeFi world or Web3 world, it's real. This technology of blockchain is changing the world of how we trade, how we settle in the TradFi market. And I think this is a wake-up call for the TradFi technology guys to change how we do things now.
Cool. So I personally came from a legal background, so I have been lawyer for a couple of years, and I joined the Web3 and crypto space in 2018. So I think no matter whether TradFi is eating the CeFi or crypto or vice versa, I think it's the capacity to bridging the two different main sides are very important. So that's why today we are talking about ETF and crypto and DeFi here. So my last bonus question to all the panel is, what's your prediction of the Bitcoin price by the end of this year? So it is not financial advice, it's just purely personal experience. And if you cannot comment, it's okay. If you have a say, feel free to share.
I'll just go first. So $269,000.
I take it a bit conservatively because I'm from traditional market. I think around 100,000 will be a reason.
I think it's around like the 150, like the 25% of the currently the gold valuation. Yeah.
Yeah, the same. Probably it's 150 because after Bitcoin halving, if the Wall Street continued buying, then we probably buy the most of the Bitcoins.
Yeah, I
It's really
think.
hard to predict.
Yeah, we have Asia power here, so I think we will have more Asia inflows as well. So thanks so much for the sharing, and it's a great panel. And we are running out of time, and feel free to connect us afterwards. Thank you so much. Let's take a group picture.